Well, Jeff, I feel like this is the dawn of a new era of the
I think
Bluest
so
Tape.
too. I agree.
Um, so we are, by all accounts, we're live, video live on there's a website called Facebook.com.
Mm,
I don't know if you're familiar with that, and then also YouTube.com. I think that's another website.
sure.
Have you been to either of those before?
Yeah, I have. I watched Teen Wolf 2, I think, on YouTube not that long ago.
Um, so we hope that this will be an interactive experience. And to begin it all, firstly, I want to apologize for my awful, awful voice. I don't know what happened. It happened like 24 hours ago, right after I decided to go to do a live video stream. My voice just shut down. But I went and got a COVID test just to make sure I'm good. I'm clean. I mean, I'm vaccinated, but still never be too careful. But I'm going to barrel through tonight with the help of a good friend of mine, Billy McKenna. So, or Henry McKenna rather. So we'll see how it goes. But Jeff's going to carry the heavy loads, I think, for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
So you guys feel free to comment. We'll try to work those in. Let's see if I can do this. There's CJ Corbett. CJ, thanks for saying hey. And yes, faces to the voices.
Thanks for appreciating our work.
We appreciate it. And we're sorry that we haven't been around more. It's been, I mean, I wish, like I hear people talk about the pandemic and how, I wish that we could have been there for you guys, but we just couldn't because we were too busy taking care of our own shit, basically is what it was. So, anyway, we're here. We made it through it, I think, mostly intact. I know it's been hard for a lot of folks in different ways, right? Everybody had their own struggles over the last year. So we appreciate you guys coming through it on the other end. And Jeff, we're like 24 hours away from close to it of Widespread Panic hitting the stage.
It's pretty crazy to think that it's been this long. It's been 17 months since January of 2020, since Panic played at Panic in La Playa, and they're going to kick it off at Red Rocks, and which it's been really exciting to see them add more weekends throughout the summer and into the fall, and a great mix of venues, a great mix of locations, but kicking it all off at Red Rocks, kicking it all off with Tunes for Tots, and just for a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on, obviously, in this world, but there's a lot of stuff going on in Panic world. And obviously, you don't want to start off on a down note, but just, one of the things I was thinking about, just the other day is Panic has not only been through this like we have, but they just lost one of their best friends. In Danny from Bloodkin. And so, you always think about what's the band going to do? What are they going to open with? How are they going to respond to this world event or, sporting event or whatever, all the weird, quirky things that they've done over the years, but they've also been really poignant and really topical about things too, in their own way. I mean, Panic is never heavy.
They're never on the nose, right? I mean, it's never like, and it's just like, you think, well, this is obviously what they're gonna open with, and it's like they can open with like imitation leather shoes, right? And it's like we don't know, you know what I mean? We can guess, and whatever it'll be. I think by the end of the weekend there will be a message, right? But it may not be obvious when they first come out on stage, but we'll see. Maybe not.
Yeah. And so yeah, exactly. But I think fun will be had, and I think that's what the band will have first and foremost in their mind is. There's a lot of pent up, whatever you want to call it. It's a hot vax summer. That's what the kids are calling it, I believe. I
count on you to keep me in tune with that stuff because I'm
definitely. So I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of hooting and hollering and throwing water in the air and just generally a release of pretty monumental proportions this weekend.
Yeah. I got to think that the decibel level on Friday night when the band hits the stage is going to be unmatched, right? Yeah. I mean, just so much release, right? And
And there always is so much energy before these bigger shows, but just think about when the band was touring regularly, and we were seeing shows regularly, and that random Wednesday night show in Iowa, like we couldn't hear a pin drop, but you could hear other people's conversations,
Right.
before the show started or at set break. And there's this, band would come out and you wouldn't even hear it on the tapes. It's those late 90s shows that it's almost dead silence before the band starts playing. It's like that hasn't happened in years, but it really ain't gonna happen this weekend. So
yeah. So I want to get into, we like to talk about sports, and so this will be our sports show. We'll make predictions. We'll have hot takes, right? And so I know there are folks out there. I mean, literally a handful of folks watching right now, singles, maybe tens. So if you have a prediction that you want to make, we would love to hear it, and we'll share it with the other folks. Like I said, I keep coming back to if we're gonna, and then the other thing is the tunes for tots, right? Like, how do you, because we like to look at these things like from a very high level and look at we're breaking down the set lists, right? Like they're plays. How do we separate those two things? Is the tunes for tots like part of the whole run, or is it its own thing? And then the run really starts on Friday night. I do want to say, just, so the folks know, I recorded an interview with Ted Rockwell last night, which we're going to play tonight. He was busy tonight, so he couldn't be on with us live, but we got into a lot of this stuff. And he told me, I guess it's like 4,000 people tomorrow night. So it's not like a little place. It's a pretty decent sized venue. Wow. So there's going to be, a lot of energy there. They've been practicing in the space for a while. So it kind of feels like it's going to be part of the run. You know what I mean? And so it does kind of feel like that's going to be the start is tomorrow night. So is that what we're asking? Like, what are they going to start with tomorrow night? Or what are they going to start with Friday night? What are the choices?
Well, I wrote down my predictions for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, wow, man, you're so prepared.
I thought Thursday, I viewed it as sort of separate, but now hearing you talk about it, it's like, well,
no, and that's how I was looking at it before. I was figuring like, this will be kind of a straightforward, nothing crazy, just kind of get back in the groove a little bit. But then, the everything comes off on Friday, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it'll be a pretty good crowd in there on Thursday. So
will new songs be played this weekend?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And I don't know. I mean, I have heard a little bit of tell that there's some potentially some new material out there. Obviously, I am not in the know by any stretch. But
you don't have to have a little birdie. I hear a birdie. Is there a birdie? You have a little birdie that you talk to?
But could I? This would seem like a good time to do that subtle drop in the seventh song in the first set on the kind of thing.
Spring '96 move.
Spring '96 move. So yeah, I do think that we'll hear some new songs. I mean, the band we've seen Schools is a great follow on Instagram and has been working pretty diligently with his Farmer Dave band and some other musicians, but I'm assuming that the band has kept up with each other and has been working on some things, and wouldn't be surprised that they float a couple things out there this weekend.
Yeah, I think I hadn't thought about that, but I agree with you. I think 100%. I wouldn't say shocked, but I would be really surprised if we didn't get one or more new songs, originals.
The last new song is Sundown Betty, right?
Right. That was a couple years ago.
It just seems like forever ago, but
so I want to hear your predictions. The one that I keep coming back to Can't Get High is like, and that seems to be like, not only is it a great tribute to Danny and it kind of fitting lyrically, but it also is like kind of a curveball. Like, it wouldn't necessarily be like, it's clearly not a traditional opener, but it seems like it would be a good way to get things going. I don't know. I mean, but maybe that just kills the energy in the room. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
it's an energy killer, but
No.
so your pick is that is the opener that is your pick for the opener for the entire weekend?
I'm gonna just throw things out, and then whenever they hit, I'm gonna take credit for them.
Excellent. That's
So
perfect. We are there. This is just an honest question. Are there betting? Are there betting sites for for tours?
No, but that seems to be an opportunity missed. Is what I'd say. I mean, they had that.
Is there a BetQL site for Panic?
There's the fantasy tour. I think was that thing. I don't know if that is even still a thing or not. But that certainly was not for like money.
Yeah.
But there seems to be. I feel like there would be an opportunity there.
So I'm going to go. I think Can't Get High is a good opportunity. It was a potential to be a good opener for Thursday night. In the smaller space, right? I think the opener Friday night is going to be Disco. It's just too. To me, it's just too. I've vacillated between Disco, and honestly, I've vacillated between Disco and Takeout, just because of I could see them framing the weekend with Takeout Porch. I could see them doing Takeout as the opener, and then end of the show Porch the second night, or Porch end of the show, whatever whichever. Both of them I think would work.
Sure.
But I ended up with Disco just for high energy, and it wouldn't surprise me to see something like a Disco, Disco Fishwater, Disco Please, Disco Chili, or something like that, just right off the bat.
Yeah, I think that's
the energy up. So that's my Friday night prediction.
Okay, I like that. That's strong. I mean, I think that's good. Those are, I think Porch Song. I like it at the end in the sandwich with Takeout, but I also feel like Porch Song could be a good opener too, to kind of get things going.
Yeah. I mean, whatever they play. I mean,
it's going to be great.
We have our own personal dislikes of songs. Yeah. But whatever they play is going to be awesome. We should preface that by saying whatever they play is going to be awesome. I mean, I don't think I would I would pop if they played Dying Man, but that would just be like Bizarro World if after 2 years.
Yeah,
we've been on the shelf for 18 months. Everybody, we're gonna do Dying Man.
I can't imagine that. I mean, that would be probably my least likely if I had to pick. That would be the last on the list.
Nobody's Loss would be probably a little bit higher.
Close second.
So we'll do Snake Draft. So you did Can't Get High, Disco. I'll do Saturday Night, which again, I'm being on the nose, but it would be if there were a bet, it would probably be like a minus 150 or something.
Okay.
It'd be Henry Parsons on Saturday night.
Okay. Why Henry Parsons? Just because Danny, and that's a good.
It was 6:00 on Saturday that Henry Parsons died. Did you forget the lyrics to these songs?
I totally did. I forgot.
Or were you just testing me to see if I actually?
No, I totally was not testing you at all. I guess I kind of feel like any song that has "die" in the title is not the best one to play. Coming back from the pandemic, but maybe
they just say it once in the song, like the first line, and then they get it out of the way.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so what's your next prediction then?
I'm gonna say, well, I mean, I feel like this one's pretty obvious, but what about Surprise Valley? I mean, because the Mountaineer with Breathe, like we're finally masks off, we're next to each other.
Look at that. That's good. I like that. Yeah. That would be a good opener on Friday night too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say, honestly.
Sure.
So that's that. And then so then is it back to me for the third one? I'm going to say, and this might be more of a Thursday, Friday. And again, I feel like this one's like in the same ballpark as Can't Get High, of like maybe not like an energy thing. And so it's probably more likely that they won't do this. This is a little too on the nose. But I bet it'll certainly show up at some point this weekend, and that's Hope in a Hopeless World. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think that would be a good message song this weekend. But probably fits better in an encore than in a show starter.
I've really been hoping all along that they would get two of their big heroes in the rock and roll world to maybe sit in with them this weekend. I was really hoping, now that we're living in a post-COVID world, that we could get Van Morrison or Eric Clapton to come sit in with the band and maybe sing there. Sorry.
You couldn't help yourself. Holy moly.
I was talking to a friend the other night. We were we after work, and I gave him a ride home, and we started talking about Van Morrison, and it's beyond explanation. I just don't know what has. I always heard of him being difficult. I've always heard of him as being difficult to work with and a bit of a curmudgeon and so on and so forth. But he's like just fell headlong into white nationalism at this point. So, well, good for you, man.
You do you.
Astro Works is still awesome, but and Clapton is just old. So again, here's my 2 on the nose prediction for Sunday night, and that's "Wish You Were Here."
Oh, yeah, that's good. I bet that, again, I think that might be an encore slot kind of song, but that's good for the opener. I like CJ Corbett throws out there, no Flip the Bird encores this week.
Yes.
I agree. I think there's a little chance for Flip the Bird encore this week. Well, we got your buddy Jay is here, Jeff. And
let's bring Jay into the show.
I don't see his face. I don't know if we're just audio in it, then that's fine because people don't want to look at us.
Tell him that we want to see him.
So should I bring him on, or you want to text him first and we can keep? Oh, well, no, there he is. All right, I got him. Hey, Jay. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can make this happen.
Hey, Jay Strasberg. Hey. Oh, we can't hear you.
I didn't look pretty.
There you go.
No, we got you.
None of us do. We never do. It's just exciting that I'm not sitting in the closet and I'm outside because I knew that we were going to be on video tonight. So, Jay, it's the first time I've seen you in a while, and you're just a scant 2.5 miles from me right now.
I know. I've missed you. I've missed all of you guys. I can't wait to see everybody tomorrow night at 4:00 at the sound check. I'm going to be the first one in line.
Jay, how many? I'm going over under 500 high fives tomorrow night. How many high fives for you?
Gone high fives. I think everybody's going to skip even the complete strangers, like the homeless people walking down Colfax. Like, hey, good to see you.
Oh, yes.
I've been seeing you since the last run. They're like,
you're still here. Oh. So you're going tomorrow night and all weekend, correct?
My sister scored the VIP tickets for tomorrow, so we're literally going from the first note to the last, and I couldn't be happier.
Nice.
Wow, way to go, Phyllis. Nice job. And so this will be your 4th or 5th Red Rocks?
4th Red Rock. Would have been 5th if last year would have happened. We did Sunday in 2017 and then looked at each other and went, why did we not go to the first 2 nights? And so then it's been that way since.
Yeah. What of the shows that you've gone to, and you've gone to a bunch of shows, your first show was here in Memphis way back, right?
1995.
Mud Island. Oh, yeah.
That was George McConnell, right?
George McConnell show, yeah, 513. Yeah. So for your Red Rocks experiences, what have been some of your personal highlights?
So having been all the way back in Mikey and seeing, growing up listening to Panic from high school on, and then having a son of my own, when they broke out Waker in 2018, it was very emotional. And I looked around and everybody had hit the same exact chord, and you don't see that often. Everybody in the entire crowd was looking at each other like they did it. Oh my God. So it was pretty intense. I would have to say that's the number one moment right there.
Jeff, when you were, I'm sorry. So I would share, I've only been to Red Rocks once. It was in 2000. And we had a similar moment when it rained during Hatfield, and then it stopped, and then the sun came out and there was a rainbow over the entire stage. And I mean, my wife, bless her, she wasn't my wife then, but she is now, was literally broke down in tears. I mean, it was like a spiritual event, right? And everybody in that place was going nuts. But it's amazing how much of those kind of things happen in that place. And so I was going to ask you, Jeff, if you had, I mean, I know you're such a curmudgeon, you would never get emotional about a show, but did you have an experience at Red Rocks that was special?
Too busy writing copious notes in my notebook and judging people. It's typically what I do.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean, I went in '99, and we've talked. I think I talked about this on the podcast before, but the first Surprise Valley, just because the first Bears Gone Fishing, and then the first Surprise Valley, just because that the tape had the demos had leaked and had gotten out there, and everybody kind of knew they were coming, but to hear it for the first time, and the first. We were just talking about, if Panic's going to debut some new material this weekend, and that traditional, like, let's just sneak a new song in as like the seventh song in the first set. Surprise Valley opening the second set on the Sunday of Red Rocks, and just being a really, really great version of that. But the show, when whatever gear broke down, and they stopped Postcard in the middle of the song. And like they stop the song, and like Todd runs off the stage and kind of wondering what's going on, and then the band sort of picks back up, and then Todd runs back on, and then they finish Postcard. So that was kind of a interesting. Again, it's just one of those one of a kind moments. But I didn't have any rainbows. I didn't have any children in 1999.
All that stuff's overrated. It's the music. The rainbows are nice, it's pretty, but what brings us all there is the music. Everything else is kind of icing on the cake.
Jay, have you had live music since the pandemic? Will this be your first, or have you done like old people Tedeschi Trucks band shows like Jeff?
I had the Tedeschi Trucks. Although I have to give Jeff credit. The first show back I had was at Stax during the stream, and it was. I think everybody there and honestly, I was just there trying to be quiet. And not like start cheering and jumping up and down, but like everybody there was kind of enjoying it. Kind of, I think everybody felt the same thing, because I think it was the first time I had seen Jeff in over a year.
Yeah,
and it was awesome. And then I think I saw Southern Avenue again with Jeff.
Oh yeah, we did.
I think I could say I'm on Southern Avenue tour. I've got like 6, 7. I know the manager. Like, it's all good.
Maybe I should do a Southern Avenue podcast.
That's an idea. That's an idea.
Pretty short podcast. The show that we saw at the museum was really great, because it was that was January, February, and I think the cool thing about it was, yes, there was music, but it was the first time I'd actually sat in the museum with friends, and obviously we both Jay and I know the band a little bit. But like, we sat down and we ate barbecue with other people, which, is basically akin to breathing.
In the tunes at Stax, like, I have to keep reminding myself, like, the room we were in is like music history at its finest, and we were like just sitting in there hanging out, listening to tunes.
Yep.
It was pretty cool.
So we did some predictions, Jay. I didn't know if you heard our predictions in terms of openers, but in terms of, do you have any predictions, or like, is there 2 or 3 things? I mean, I know you'll be happy with whatever you hear, but are there 2 or 3 things that you really hope that you hear or this weekend?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I got a couple projections. I'm not going to project what day the openers would be, but I will say I feel a Going Out West as an opener.
Oh,
I feel a Strong might be an opener.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with the Surprise Valley, and I don't know the fourth. The fourth is throwing me for a loop, because I'm really looking forward to the Mission Ballroom, but I don't want to hear certain songs at Mission Ballroom that I really want to hear at Red Rocks.
Yeah,
so I want to hear it all, but some songs I think are meant for more of an open area.
I feel like
Jeff, this might be the run for Fire on the Mountain that everybody jokes about.
I think if that happened, you might see Harvey and me on tour. Or,
I think Jeff, you predicted disco on the first night of Red Rocks, but I kind of feel like disco at the Mission, like the first, like that would be just getting everybody, because you're inside. Disco feels like more of an indoor song than a outdoor song. I don't know.
You're not going to play disco before a festival audience.
I mean, I can. Well, what's the festival audience? Red Rocks, the festival?
It's a Spinal Tap reference, Harvey.
Oh, sorry, Jeff.
Jay, one of the things that you and Harvey have in common are your mutual love of Coach John Calipari.
Hall of Fame coach John Calipari.
Hall of Fame coach John Calipari. You obviously you know Coach Cal a little bit, Jay, and especially he's a good friend of your dad, and Harvey is just I feel like Jay is taking us outside.
Sorry, you guys are breaking up. I had to step outside.
Oh, I thought you were taking us to show us your tribute to Coach Cal. Oh, we lost Jay.
Do you think the police are coming for him, or is that your house?
Oh, that's my house.
Okay.
That's my house. Yeah.
All right. Jay,
hey guys, I'm gonna hang up and call back.
Okay. That's all right. Well, there you go.
That's definitely your house. It's not coming to your house, is it?
No, right? That's I live in Memphis, Harvey. We get these things. That's the fire trucks. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But I thought
it's like the train going by in my house. It's just the siren.
But no, I feel like Jay will come back, but I think Jay laid down some pretty good predictions, and Jay's seen Panic for a long time. He said his first show was in '95, so here in Memphis at Mud Island, which is a great show. And are
you gonna do? What about you got? Mempho? Are you gonna do the Mempho
It's like
Fest?
a mile. It's a mile from my house.
Well, don't tell people you're gonna have like stalkers coming.
I know.
Don't tell people where you live.
Yes, if there's any wooks out there that want to rent our house out for the weekend.
Where are you gonna stay?
I don't know. We'll find somewhere to stay. It's just, but yeah, Mempho is literally up the street.
So you guys are gonna go?
Oh yeah, man. Jen's gonna see her first Widespread Panic concert. And let me tell you, she is excited.
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like this is why you need to come down. If it wasn't the, it was like the timing of these festival announcements. They just dumped them all on top of each other.
Right.
They announced Railbird one day, and Jen are like, "That looks great. We can go see Harvey and Rachel and the kids." And then the next day they announced Mempho. It's like, well, I guess we're staying here.
Are there still tickets available for Mempho, or is it?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay.
Jay, again, not having
Jay's back, so I want to bring
Jay's back.
I'm going to bring him on here. Yeah, let's see. Fingers crossed. All right.
There's Jay.
Difficulties.
That's okay. We're talking about Mempho Festival now.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, that's
Can you hear me?
We were just saying how that's in our town. And we've got 2 nights of Panic, 4 sets at the Memphis Botanic Gardens, which is just where Jay and I saw Southern Avenue, which Jay's got the good seats up front. I'll be in the back with the proletariat. But yeah, it'll be good. We'll see what kind of crowd that is. It's a really cool, well-curated festival. I think all the pieces fit together really well. Black Pumas, Nathaniel Rateliff, Avett Brothers, the local bands that are on the bill are really great. City Champs, which is one of the city's best guitar players. Joe Restivo, Al Gamble is from Memphis, but plays organ with St. Paul and the Broken Bones, and George Slepik on drums, who's played with everybody, but you might know him from Chris Robinson Brotherhood. They just put out their first LP in a long time. But it's awesome. It's awesome instrumental trio jazz. So I really recommend that record. But yeah, they did a really nice job, and I think they kind of switched the festival's focus. It moved venues. It moved from out at Shelby Farms to the Botanic Gardens, and definitely takes on more of a jam band Americana vibe than the last few years did. They really pushed hip hop and alternative, which they did well with. I mean, they had a huge crowd for Post Malone and stuff, but old people like me,
right? Like 3 months after Post Malone already played Memphis in May, they still packed it with Post Malone. Yeah,
it was crazy. But there just wasn't enough instrumental wanking for me to sit down and admire from afar, and so I just didn't go.
Yeah.
I need to be able to bring my camp chair and sit in the back.
Yeah. Hence Tedeschi Trucks Band.
Hey, It was a
I'm
good
sorry.
show.
No, I don't mean to give that. I don't mean. I just thought I said. I don't think I said this before we came on. I thought it was very fitting that my first show back was Billy Strings, and Jeff's first show back was Tedeschi Trucks Band with all the old people sitting in camp chairs. But Jay, we so much appreciate you taking the time and wish you all of the fun this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So jealous that you get to do that, and we definitely want to get a rundown when you get back.
Absolutely, and thank you very much for having me on. For all the people out there that have been listening to you guys through all this, you have helped a lot of people get through all this mess over the last year and a half, trying to remember shows. We're able to go back and listen. It's been very helpful. So thanks, Jay. Keep it up. And Jeff, I didn't want to tell you that in person because I'm afraid you'd run away. For those that don't know Jeff, he shies away from attention.
Yeah,
yes.
Akin to it's a verbal hug, and I don't run over the other direction. But thanks, Jay, and say hey to Jen and Max, and have fun with Phyllis this weekend, and travel safe. Yeah. Have a great time.
You guys be good. Looking forward to hearing the rest of the show. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Jay.
That was a great hit. He knows how to do the hit.
Yeah, man. You've been hiding Jay from me all these years.
Hiding a gem. Yeah,
I got Bob, but not Jay.
we can run out some other folks.
Bob
finished his book, so
that's awesome.
We'll bring him on when that's time.
When he's not busy telling us, soak up the good times. When your kids do terrible things that make you want to kill them, soak it up. They'll be old before you know it. Thanks, Bob. I get it. CJ Corbett says Glory opener.
Oh, old school. Okay.
I like that. I could be on board with that.
I mean, Glory is a song I would not have put on my list of for the 4 shows. But if they're going to play it, they got to play it in the right place. It's got to be a set opener. That mid-set Glories are. But as I've listened to Summer '96, trying to keep up with the shows on 25th anniversary stuff. If Glory's in the wrong spot, it's just not.
It's a mood killer. Yeah. But I will say, so the show that sticks out to me where that was 12/30/96 was Littlekin Traveling Like Glory Heroes to open. So it was almost like 4 openers in one.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's like everything's about tonight, and like it's all going down tonight.
Yeah.
So that's always good.
Have you been keeping up with your 25th anniversary Widespread Panic Summer '96 shows, Harvey?
I haven't really been, and I need to get back into it. I've been exploring other musical avenues over the last few months, and that's probably part of why we haven't done a show. But
Eastern philosophies and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, not really that so much, but other stuff.
So what have you been listening to, Harvey?
You're gonna laugh at me, Jeff. I've listened to some Goose.
Oh, Jesus, you are.
Have you? I will say, have you heard? You probably never even heard a note that they played, but you will judge all of their music based on some impression that you have of them, right? I mean,
yes. I'm 43 years old. That's what I'm supposed to do.
I would recommend, if you would do me this favor, Jeff.
Sure. Anything.
Late one night when you've had a couple toddies and throw on. It's called the TED Tapes.
Okay.
By the band Goose. It's all instrumental. I think you would dig it, and I think it might give you. Are you writing this down?
I am. I'm writing. Wow. I will show you. I'm writing it down.
I think it'll be an entrance point. I like them. I think they're very good. I got it.
See it?
TED Tapes by Goose. Great.
TED Tapes by Goose. So that's.
But yeah, no. I mean, that's not the only thing I've been listening to. That's one thing that I've listened to. I've been going back. I don't know. I just been exploring stuff. Just getting back into the archives.
Sure. Well, since I apparently am the only one that's holding true to the catalog of the band that we pretend to like, I will give the people a few highlights from Summer '96. I will not go show by show, but I will point out a few things that, hadn't paid much attention. Just again, hadn't grabbed me in a long time. Mitchell Sharp loves Goose.
Gotcha.
The first show of the summer tour, 5/23/96. I believe I texted you when I listened to this show. End of the first set is Can't Get High, Holden, Traveling Light. And we had talked about when Todd passed away. We did the show and we talked about Johnny Sandlin that called Todd the transition magician? That is transition magic 101 between Holden into Traveling Light. It's really, really cool. And the band is kind of riding right on the edge.
Right.
And
that's when the best stuff happens, right?
Yeah,
it's like
Todd,
don't put a penny on the track.
Todd brings him back, but there's this moment. We've done this with shows. I mean, one of my favorite shows, which some people hate, is 3/26/97, that infamous Santa Cruz show where Sonny's all on cold medicine.
NyQuil. He's NyQuil'd up.
And there's that really amazing airplane into Diner, and that Mikey's like off at playing a different concert than the rest of the band. There's that moment during the Holden Traveling Light where like it comes down, and then all of a sudden it's like I couldn't remember a time, at least at that point in the band's history, where I'd heard Mikey take such an aggressive stance. Like, I'm taking this shit back from you guys because you're not going anywhere with this. And he just like comes in out of nowhere and just plays these super aggressive notes and like gets the band back. And then Todd kind of wraps everybody back up together and they go into Traveling Light. So it's just really cool. I'm getting a little chill thinking about it because it's nice. It's badass. And then the two shows at Chastain Park, I'd always had 5/26 the second night. The first night they get shut down. There's no encore. The first night is really strong and just really well played. Henry Parsons opener and then a Glory Disco walk-in end of the first set. That's really good. Second night, an early opener, Fishwater drums Fishwater in the first set, and then Blackman shows up for the second set. But the show that we've played stuff from this show before, and I will always come back to it. So when June 13th hit, it was like, backyard anniversary. And that show before in Santa Fe is super cool with the Papas C Brown opener. But
6/11.
6/11. But this show, 6/13/96, this is one of those shows that I hope the band grabs a hold and hope that they have a multi-track and they put it out at some point. It's the best show of the tour, and it's really just one of the best shows that the band.
Best show of the tour.
It's
Summer 96.
I think so, yeah.
Wow. Those are strong words, Jeff.
Strong words. Well, I know you're a fan, you're partial to 618 Cincinnati Zoo.
I love the
right
zoo.
there.
I love St. Paul, Oregon, 6/5/96.
6/5, I mean, 6/5 is 1B. And then
6/25 and 6/26.
But there's
and
just
6/28.
There is some stuff that goes down on this with the Sandbox Holden jam in the first set, and then that Porch Roberta Legba in the second set. It's the band at its best, and so we won't go into the whole. We won't do show breakdowns and play clips, for this one, but check it out. It's really good.
Okay, good. Mindy says they've got some fires going on in Colorado, so hoping for some Hatfield. Need a little cook up some rain for you guys.
Seriously.
So, and CJ asked if they did Burn Faceless during that Chastain Park 5/23. They're still playing it at that point. I mean, they played it until
they are.
Spring 97, right?
Yeah.
At the end of Burn, or summer, maybe 97.
They did. They played it at Milwaukee 11/1/96. They did not do a Burned Faceless at Chastain Park. No.
Okay. It is there, as been mentioned before, the Help Slip Frank is the Burn Faceless Happy Wondering of Panic. No, I don't mean that. Don't send emails. I'm just kidding.
TM
Right.
Harvey Couch on that one.
Okay, so should we play the Ted Rockwell bit?
Yes, let's.
Okay, so I talked to Ted last night. I'd like to hear. I think my voice is in better shape today than it was yesterday, so bear with me. But luckily for us, Ted likes to talk and carried most of the conversation, which is what you want to hear more than me anyway. So I'm going to see if I can get this going. It is. I got to add it back. Okay, stand by, Jeff. Let's see if I can figure this out. It's nothing like live TV. Joined by very good friend of the podcast, Mr. Ted Rockwell. Ted, how's it going, man?
It's going great. We're end of June 2021. Who knew we'd survive this long? This is amazing. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And when you reached out to me a couple of days ago to say, hey, we're going to do a special kind of live broadcast, I was right on board. I think that, it's going to be a really fun weekend. I'm excited about what's to come. But it's also a really great time for us to kind of reconnect and remind one another why it is we do this thing and why we all like coming together and seeing this music.
Yeah, no, it's been, so I'll ask this. We went and saw in October, we saw Warren Haynes and Danny Lewis at a farm in Connecticut, socially distanced. Have you seen any live music since March of 2020? And what has that been like?
Yeah, I have. It's very similar to that. There's a venue here in Boulder called the Caribou Room. It's up in Nederland, Colorado. It's still in Boulder County. It's just up above Boulder. A very famous recording studio called Caribou Ranch. It was right outside of Nederland. It's where Honky Chateau was produced. Elton John. Chicago produced tons of gold records there. John Lennon came into town and did a bunch of stuff here. Every band back in the day was coming through Boulder and going up to Caribou Ranch. Well, now the Caribou Room is essentially continuing that tradition. It's one of the best sounding rooms in Boulder County. But then when COVID happened, what ended up happening is they had to pivot, despite the fact this family has invested so much money in this amazing room with this amazing sound system. They had to pay the bills. And so they started putting on parking lot shows. They'd set up a stage at the front of their building, and you would be able to buy a parking spot. They had small car parking and large car parking. And you park your car and you get out your folding chairs, and you can do a QR code thing and order food and drinks, and they would take it out to your spot for you. You didn't even have to go anywhere if you didn't want to. And so I saw a bunch of local bands that way, which was a really great way of connecting with, and as you can imagine, I like supporting local artists, and many of them have become personal friends of mine. And even if they haven't, I really like being able to show up and knowing that I'm supporting a local artist by buying their t-shirt or buying their CD or ordering a drink from the venue who's supporting them. So we did, I want to say probably 4 shows that way last summer. And then I got to see another one just this last weekend. An artist named Daniel Rodriguez played up there. But my wife and I had been on a trip to Hawaii a couple of weeks ago. It was a long delayed trip. Not going to go into the details of why it was delayed. It wasn't just COVID. COVID was a part of it. It wasn't the only reason. And while we were there, one of the places we stayed was a house of a friend of ours. And we were basically house sitting for him. 2 doors down from us was Lucas Nelson. That he just bought a house there in January. What? Yep. And so not only did we get to see Lucas Nelson passing by us in a truck, but his entire band, because unbeknownst to us at the time, he was getting ready not only to release an album. I think we've been hearing rumblings of that, but he was going out on a kind of a secret tour to promote the album. And the last day we were in Hawaii, I ended up getting on the internet and buying a ticket to see Lucas Nelson at the venue that's down the street from my house, the Fox Theater in Boulder.
Oh, nice.
It's the very first full capacity show to happen in Boulder. I think it might have been the first full capacity show to happen in Denver or Boulder, but I could be wrong about that. What a crazy thing to like
Wow.
literally be able to throw a rock and hit this guy's house in another, times like 5 time zones away or whatever it is. And, 48 hours later, here I am like rocking out to him here at the Fox.
Nice.
It was, I'm going to say, and I think a lot of people could predict what I would maybe be about to say. It was great to see live music in a parking lot. Don't get me wrong. And dancing in a parking lot, it's a lot of fun. And I was having a great time with it. But seeing a band in a room with a bunch of other people who are all there dancing and having a great time, it was nearly religious.
Mm-hmm.
I cried. I laughed. I'm not too proud to say that I was a blubber for a while. It really was great to get back to dance with other people. And I think that that's something that, is one of the things I mourn about the last year, is that all of the missed opportunities for that. Many people I rely on that. I'm not too proud to say that I rely on live music for a certain amount of mental care, self-care. And I know that others do too. And so I'm really excited that we'll be able to start getting back to some of that here soon.
So do you think were you happy that you got to get one down before? I mean, if the first one was either Tunes for Tots was the band, was the boys, would you been able to make it through the whole night, or are you glad you got one under your belt before the big show?
I'm really glad that I got one down before the big show. The one thing that we were able to do, because it's our home turf, I waited in line with a good friend, Colin Goldstein, and then a bunch of other friends joined us. And we know the Fox well enough that we went, it was like, which side are we going to go to? Where are we going to? And we were able to get a spot in the Fox where we were able to kind of secure an area. It made me feel much more comfortable. I'm in a position where I'm still really not used to being around other people, and I don't feel great about being really close to people I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to carve out a spot where I felt like I had enough breathing room. I think that was important for me to kind of get over that agoraphobia, or whatever it's called, the fear of crowds. We'll see with the Mission Ballroom. I actually am a little nervous still, and I'm glad that I was able to get that under my belt. But I am also still a little bit like, I've got to be honest, just a little nervous. I'm a hugger, and I hug a lot of people, and I hug a lot of people at Panic shows, let me tell you. And they kind of want me to hug them too. And people mean well, but at the same time, I'm sort of like, I feel like making a t-shirt that says I'm vaccinated, but I'm still not going to hug you. Right. But I don't know. I probably will break down and figure that out somehow. This whole thing's been so weird, but at the same time, I think one of the lessons I've taken is that intentionality is a real thing. That in order to be able to do our work, rather than just taking for granted that we could be in an office together and be able to holler down the hall, we have to be very intentional about, hey, I need to talk to you about something. I think the same may be true with some of the social stuff that's going to happen to us here in the near future, where we're going to be able to say, hey, are you vaccinated? Do you mind if I give you a hug? We'll see. I don't know. Again, probably unrealistic thing. People are going to become bounding across the room and say, hey, catch me when I leap at you.
Yeah. It'll be interesting because I think everybody's been through it, right? It's not like it was just us that dealt with it. Every living person has dealt with this for the last 15 months and has had to change how they live their life to some extent, right? So it'll be interesting to see. So I know you're excited, right? And so let's talk a little bit, like what are you most looking forward to? Is it, and tell me too, like, have you been to a Tunes for Tots show? Because like, I feel like while that is awesome that they're starting with that, but there's something about the first big show. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, how do they fit? How do you think it all fits together as part of the big puzzle of the whole weekend?
Well, I have no doubt that the first show back, the Tunes for Tots show, is going to be really special, and it may be special among that version of show that they've done. It is the first full capacity show back, and at the same time, it's not necessarily that small. It's 4,000 people. That's still a pretty big crowd. Plus, it's the Mission Ballroom, which is a really special room. This thing just had opened, really, and then pandemic hit. It's a building built specifically for live music. And I've not been, I'm really excited to go, but everything I've heard, rave reviews, sound, experience of the audience, being able to get around, do the things you need to do. So I'm really psyched about that. Plus, it's also the rehearsal studio for the band currently. Like, they're in town already and they've been rehearsing there. So by the time they hit the stage on Thursday, they will have played in the room for, I think it's 3 full days of messing around and trying things out. So all of that to me kind of spells this is not your average benefit show. This is truly the beginning of something. Yes, it's going to be huge, Red Rocks. I mean, the first show, Red Rocks, it also happens to be a Friday. You know, for the Friday at Red Rocks, I don't know how many people have been to Friday at Red Rocks, but let me tell you from great experience, I've been to all of the Fridays they've ever played as a headliner at Red Rocks. It is a scrum. Because all these people coming in from out of town, all these people coming out of work, none of them really know their situation. There's a lot of like hustle and bustle and anxiety that goes into that day.
It's like high, like energy, like right.
Exactly. People reconnecting on their way to do things. And so there is a certain amount of frenetic energy that's going to make Friday, I think, really, really, really special. When they hit the stage on Friday, I am anticipating that they will be treated to pretty much the loudest greeting that they've gotten at Red Rocks maybe ever, because this again, it's the first full capacity show that Red Rocks has had. It's the first full capacity show that I think, at that size has happened in this region. Plus, it's actually a little bigger this year. I don't know if most people realize this. There's a new roof on the stage, and they've added like 100 seats approximately to the capacity. So there's going to be even more voices able to make this, a really special greeting for them when they hit the stage.
Yeah. So, all right. So everybody's excited. Obviously, I totally dig the Friday energy. Is the Sunday going to be a day show? Like often, it's going to be a night show.
They've stopped doing that. Yeah, it's going to be a night show. Yeah.
All right. What do you feel like going on the record with predictions on openers or anything? I mean,
I'm going to see if I could find something I wrote to someone the other day. I might not find it quickly enough. My first and best guess, I mean, the one that I really think is going to end up being the Surprise Valley makes the most sense as an opener for me. Maybe at Red Rocks, but especially as an opener to post-pandemic life. Kiss the mountain air we breathe. I mean, come on. Like, this is exactly what we're all, embracing and celebrating right now, being able to do things in a place with other people with our masks off, with the air between us, just being the air between us. The other kind of crazy guesses, let's see if I could find this super crazy thing that I wrote super fast here. I've got a group of guys where we're all like, okay, we should do I think part of is we should do a pool, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, you don't want to do a pool with me, like part of the problem, of course, is going to be that, I will get to guess like 3 songs and I'll be wrong on all of them. And you just make fun of me for the rest of the imagination here. Well, it was something along, I'm not finding it quickly enough. So, wait. Here it is. So basically, they were asking, well, what is going to be the the opener? And I said, basically, you can guess if you want to. It might be imitation leather shoes for all we know, right? They might start with something that's totally unexpected. Right? I dream of a vacation. I wish for a Pilgrims, but I secretly think it will be a porch song. But put your money on Chili Water.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I mean, imagine Dave coming out on that stage, and everyone's just anticipating. There's a lot of cheering, and he's just everyone's just gonna go fucking bananas, right? Yeah. So,
and I feel like while they do like acknowledge those kinds of moments, a lot of times I feel like they like to just do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't read too much into it. We're just going to rock, or we're just going to do whatever it is. Like, there's not always a message, in in deep to whatever the choice is.
I couldn't agree more. And that's kind of why I was like, it could be imitation leather shoes, right?
Right. Yeah, totally.
Glad that they're back and that everything's happening. It reminds me a little bit, not that I'm saying that they're doing this, but it reminds me a little bit of like a quote that I heard from Jerry Garcia about, a lot of times the crowd expects us to go in a direction, but really the magic is when we don't go in the direction you're expecting us to go in, which is, any good poetry does that, right? Any good like book, story, music, it does something slightly different than what you would expect. And I'm going to go back to something I think I gave a quote to an Honest Tune way back in the day. And they were saying, well, what are your expectations? What do you want the band to do? And I said something along the lines of, they could come out and do puppet show and freeform jazz, right? And I would be there. I would be there in the fifth row, and I would be listening to every note. I'm happy with whatever they decide to do.
Yeah. No, and I mean, and that's them. And that was Mike. And that was, it was always about not the thing that you were expecting to happen or the note unplayed. Right. And so I look forward to seeing what they have to say when they come out that first time.
I think that it's going to be, really interesting. It's nice that in one case, if you think about it, having Widespread Panic come back and be the first full capacity show at Red Rocks makes so much sense for so many reasons. I make the argument all the time that Widespread Panic actually put Red Rocks on the map. Now, I know that sounds like hyperbole from someone who's biased, but if you think about the timing and you look at what was going on, Blues Traveler was doing their 4th of July thing, but no one was selling the place out 2-3 days in a row. By the time they hit 1999, when they played their first 3-show run, they were selling it out and not selling it out with any doubt. It was happening that first day. Those guys made the end of June an anchor. The weekend before Blues Traveler was an anchor for 4th of July. And as a result of that combination, the promoters were able to start booking things around all of that, knowing that they had capacity right in the middle of summer, right at the beginning of the middle of summer. So I don't know. There's a certain amount of I like the victorious band coming back to their home turf. I feel like Red Rocks is that place for them in a lot of respects. I don't know that they get a lot of respect for it outside of the fan community. You mention to people your Widespread Panic at Red Rocks, and people will be like, my next door neighbors and stuff, they kind of know what's going on. But other neighbors in town, they don't really see that connection. And it's too bad. I feel like it's one of the unsung musical miracles of our age that we have a band that not only tours the way that they do, but is selling out a venue like this so many nights in a row. Where are we? Is it?
Well, I was going to ask you, because it was 50. What you're like? Not this past time. That was probably what 19.
It was
or 18. 18 was probably 50.
Yeah, 2016 was the 50.
Oh wow,
2016.
So we're this is like 60 then.
I think it's 2016. So that was Saturday night was the 50th. So 51 at the end of 2016, 2017, 3 shows. So that would make it 54, 57, in 2018.
2019.
And then
20 to 60. So this is 61.
62
and 3.
Yeah, wow. 63. So yeah, and it's the 25th anniversary. Not only is it the 25th anniversary of their first headlining performance in 1996,
right?
It's also and a lot of people may blast right past this, the 30th anniversary of their first appearance at Red Rocks in 1991. So,
and that was with Blues Traveler, right?
Yeah, that was a part of the
4th of July. When was that a 4th of July Blues Traveler thing? Okay, all right. What's your favorite? Well, I can't even say. I mean, I don't even know how you say this, but do you have a favorite? I could say show, moment, or run, but so you pick however you want to answer that question. Your favorite memory or favorite, moment or song or 97 when the Nevils came out or whatever. What's your moment?
I'm going to mention a few. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention the very first one, May 31st, 1996. That show almost didn't sell out. It sold out on walk-up. My wife and I came out here. Lisa and I came out here from Chicago. This is pre-cell phone days, and proceeded to have a really magical night. I'd been to Colorado before. I'd never been to Red Rocks before. Had an amazing night and had a great time here in Colorado. It's an amazing show. If you go
that
back,
was the rock and roll bluegrass disco affair.
Exactly. That thing is it's just from soup to nuts, right from the opening notes all the way through the whole thing. You can't go wrong. Put that on at your next party if you got Panic fans there, and they're going to be like, wow, this is a great show. It's just, it has everything for everyone. I think my next favorite show is, it's more of the run that happened in 1999, because that was the first set of shows that we brought our son Jack to. And we were planning on bringing him to the Sunday show, right? It's a 3-show run in 99. Friday night.
How old is he? In 99?
In 99, he is 3 months old.
Oh,
March of 1999. And we had a babysitter lined up for Friday. And our babysitter flaked on us at literally the last minute, like 4:30 on Friday. She's like, I can't do this. And Lisa and I look at each other. We both have this, let's still try, but this is about him. If he can't do it,
right,
he's going to go home. He made the whole night. Not only did he make the whole night, but I walked around the venue. This is back in the day when I had the kind of access, and the access was such that I was able to walk in front of the band while they were playing and try to show them. I was such a nerd, trying to show them this kid.
Is that past? Did you say past tense, Ted? Or that was? Okay.
I think I said I am such a nerd. Yeah. But it was the beginning of a big tradition. We brought him again on Sunday, and then we proceeded to take him to the shows with us. And we kept doing that very intentionally. And that became something. A lot of people recognize Jack, and they remember me holding Jack on my shoulders and us bringing Jack on Sunday, to the point where now people bring their kids on Sunday. That's a thing that happens. I'm not saying that we invented that, but we were part of something there where Sunday became this family day. And I'm really proud of that. And 99 was the beginning of that. Another really favorite moment was in 2000 when they did walk in, stop, go? Yes. Or stop, go, walk.
Well, 2000 was the year that I went. That was the only time I've been. And it was first set driving, stop, go driving with a rainbow over the stage. I don't know if that was the moment you're looking for or not, but that was the moment.
Yeah. That was really pretty special and really amazing. And then over the years, I got to say that just in my family, when we say, I'm going to choke up here. Wow. When I say Red Rocks, I mean Widespread Panic Red Rocks, and everyone else in the family means the same thing. If we're saying I'm going to see, Alt J, I have to say at Red Rocks. But if I just say I'm going to Red Rocks, it invariably means I'm going to see Widespread Panic at Red Rocks. And the other meaning behind that, the stuff that comes with that, are all of the people, right? Yes, the band. Yes, the music. Yes, the venue. But it's all the people. It's all the stuff that comes with it, all these relationships, all these people that we end up seeing every year and we share this experience with, that has become really meaningful for us. And it has led to all sorts of really amazing interactions that we've had over the years. People that I can rely on, that I only see once a year. I can call them up and I know that I can rely on them for things. That's really special and something that I missed last year for sure, and really anxious to get back to.
Yeah. Was your hope all along, and I apologize to everybody having to watch me work through this voice thing. It happened yesterday afternoon. How hopeful were you that Red Rocks would be the first shows back, right? I mean, we started seeing things kind of, trickling in, and it things are kind of lining up, but nobody's quite ready to pull the trigger, right? I'm sure you had some information, but it was can we do it? Can we actually make it happen? And then it just kind of all fell together at the perfect time. And I assume that you're excited about that, but like, how perfect is that, right?
Yeah, I am really excited. We're right on the eve of this whole run. I am out of Red Rocks shape, so I am a little like, oh my God, really? Because you have to actually be. I'm going to be 52 this year. I'm not a young guy, and going up and down the stairs and up the ramp and up and down the stairs and up the ramp and parking the car and in the dark trying to find your way back to the car. It has a toll. And I work. I'm going to work Friday. I work Thursday, Friday, and Monday. And so I'm a little nervous about that. I'm not going to be honest. I'm a little anxious about all of that. By the same token, it's really cool. I mean, it's really, really cool. I'm really very, very happy for the guys in the band to be able to get back to work. I'm really happy for the organization and all the people who are a part of that organization to be able to get back to work. I can't tell you how much that means to me. This is, being a part of the culture around the band for me has been also about the people who help prop that up. It's the sociology of all of these people, this community that comes together to get it done. Sure, they're getting paid, but they're not getting paid enough to survive a year and a half without any income. And I feel like that is really what I'm the most excited about, is the fact that they're able to get back to business. I'm super psyched to see all these freaks from all over the country again, for sure. I maybe, could have made it a little while longer without that. But by the same token, I'm excited that it's happening right now. That is for sure.
Well, I'm going to leave it there, Ted. Thank you so much for your time, and best of luck. Because I feel a slight bit of trepidation in you, but I know that it's going to be awesome. But I feel, because I'm with you, like I have all those same things, and so I feel you, and we're going to be rooting for you. We know it's going to be fine. But we'll be right behind you.
I really appreciate that. It's definitely, I feel really excited. There are other people in my life, and the impacts of the thing that we've been through go beyond any one individual. I have no doubt that I can handle all of this. But there are other people that I need to worry about, and that I interact with on a regular basis. And that's really where a lot of my caution comes from, is making sure I'm taking care of those around me and making sure that they're healthy and safe and happy. So super excited to talk to you again once we've made it through these 4 shows.
Yes.
I'd love the opportunity to talk to you about what that ended up looking like and sounding like, and what maybe they were trying to say or not say, or avoiding trying to say. Who knows?
Yeah, no, and I think like we talked about a little bit, before, about how they sometimes don't always do what you expect them to do. But I do think you often get the message at the end. You know what I mean? It's not about, we're going to open with Hope in a Hopeless World or whatever, you might think would be the one. But it's like at the end of the weekend, that there's going to be something, right? There was some message, a through line. And I think that will be the time they can kind of come back and say, okay, well, that was freaking insane.
You should put some money on Genesis. I mean, that thing is, a classic that they played since the beginning. And, it's time has come for us to pause and think of living as it was. That alone, will make that song. And that seems like a great Sunday song. Could be a great way to open Sunday. Who knows?
Yeah. I could see a lot of the songs as you hear them. And this is the same thing that I felt in the spring of 2002. It was like every word mattered more than it did ever before. Right. And this may not be quite at that level, but we'll see more, you'll see things in songs that you've never seen before because of where we are, personally and as a culture.
It's sort of the magic of music, right? I'm going to get the quote wrong, but, music is one of those things that when you're in good times, it helps you kind of just make it through each day. And then when you're in bad times, it actually explains to you what it is you're going through. And I think we're at this moment where we're between, right? We're still open. We're very open to where we have been and the suffering. We're still in the suffering for a lot of people. But we do feel a palpable sense that we're turning a corner. So there's this optimism and this hopefulness. Summer healing is coming, that I feel like will probably precipitate a lot of people to realize meaning where they didn't hear it before, where they actually understand the lyric, where they once just said the words, didn't get the connection between them or something. I have no doubt that will happen for me. Even after all of these years, I will still be surprised by an intonation that maybe JB will put out there, and I'll go, oh my God, I never understood that lyric before. And how beautiful, right? And it totally makes sense now.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we can't wait to touch base with you afterwards. Have a great time. Be safe, and hug somebody for me.
I will hug somebody for you. I will hug someone and tell them that I'm hugging them for Harvey, and take it easy. Have fun at the live broadcast tomorrow. And
yes.
Looking forward to talking to you later.
Awesome. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff.
Did you just put your hat on so it looked like you traveled in time? Because
that's what I was going for. I was
yesterday.
trying to do that. I was going to change my shirt, but it's in the laundry already.
That was great.
Ted is awesome. Every time I spend time with him, I just want to spend more time with him.
He's a deep widespread panic thinker.
Yes. And there are damn few of us left, Jeff.
Yeah, but Genesis would be a great song for the weekend, and I love the phrase "Red Rocks shape."
I couldn't imagine having to do that like on a regular basis. Like, is that being my venue? I mean, obviously it's amazing, but also it is like it's a workout.
Yeah. I mean, that's just one of those things that you think about. When I went to my Old People Tedeschi Truck show the other night, the one thing that I worried about going into that show was driving in and being like, oh, this parking situation's a mess. And channeling my inner dad, who, is an expert at ignoring the directions of racetrack parking attendants since, the early 70s.
They don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. It's just kids out there with a little stick and a penny. They don't know what they're doing. So our friend Bob, friend of the pod, Bob, was there, and we were pulling in, and it was like, Bob, ask that guy if we can park there. And he's like, hey man, can we park over there? Our friends are in that blue truck. And the kid was like, I guess so. And we had a perfect spot, right by the tree, right in the front, could drive right out, weren't stuck in the back. And it's like, that's the kind of stuff at a place like Red Rocks with 10,000 people. I'd pull in and be like, oh God, where do we park? How do I walk to the show? What time do we need to get there? Are they going to start on time? All that stuff. That would be a shock to the system to have that be the first show back with that many people. And then
then there's the whole, it's totally GA and you're running upstairs I guess they don't do the tarps anymore, but it's you got to hold down your space for all your people. And it's intense. But, that's what he was talking about. The Friday is the, kind of kinetic feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, it's after years of doing this for, we did when we were going to shows a lot, and Ted and others, it's it just becomes road after a while. You just when you get to the venue, you know what you're going to do when you get to the venue. All the venues are the same for the most part, sheds in the summertime, or, smaller arenas or theaters or whatever it is. And getting the feel for all that stuff. And obviously Panic's tour schedule has changed so much that you only really need to know about one venue when you're going to see a run, as opposed to 3 or 4. So, but yeah, Ted's interview was great. It definitely, I think he did such an awesome job communicating the emotion behind all that stuff. And I mean, is he the first one to get choked up on the pod? I believe so.
I think it might be. I felt a little bit like Barbara Walters there. But honestly, I think Ted is, the pandemic has been a road for him and his family. So I think they're happy that they're on the other side of it. But with that comes a lot of emotion, right? And
certainly. And
it's hard too, because we're not. I mean, who are you talking to? You know what I mean? Who are you venting to? And that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's you just got to have that outlet. It's like my wife has only heard me complain so much. It's like it falls on deaf ears eventually.
Therapy is a really good person.
Oh well, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
There's that.
But yeah, I do think that there's this going to be this grand sense of catharsis, this grand sense of relief. It doesn't matter what they play. I mean, for some people, it's never mattered what they play. Obviously, everybody, that's not the way I am. But I mean, it's literally.
But this weekend, it does. I mean, it could be.
Doesn't matter at all what they play
at all.
And that's what I think. It's just all bets are off, and I think the band is totally going to respond to that. Like they're going to be totally loose. They're going to be like, this is what we live for. This is why we do this. These people are why we do this. And let's just go out there and melt some faces and let's just have fun and play shit. And we'll bring it down. We'll we'll communicate our mood about things and stuff that's happening in our world and in the world
at times
writ large.
That's why I kind of feel like that's why he called the Chili opener. I feel like that's perfect. Just everything's loud and you just.
Yeah, that would be. There's a lot of ways it can go. I like my disco call still, but I think Chili. I mean, again, Chili would be pretty fun. So
yeah, can't go wrong. Or really, unless you play Dying Man, that's the only thing. That's the only way it could go wrong.
And I'm sure a member of the band or the touring party is listening to this right now and be like, we're just gonna play Dying Man to just screw with those guys.
Right. Yeah.
Sure you are. Yeah. And if you're listening, and those of you that do listen to internet radio, you can listen to internet on the radio. You don't just need to listen to it in your car anymore. It's a new thing I learned during the pandemic, Harvey. WYXR.org. WYXR is a new community-based radio station here in Memphis, Tennessee, based out of Crosstown Concourse. Good friend Jared Boyd and Robbie Grant run that. But we'll say that former sit-in with Widespread Panic, Mr. Colin Butler on the turntables of the late great Big Ass Truck, does have a weekly show, which I can't remember which day and time, but somebody's shooting off fireworks.
I was going to say, are you sure those are fireworks, Jeff?
No, those are fireworks. I've been here long enough, Harvey. I can tell
the difference. The pacing. Right. Okay.
But yes, it is. What's today? The 23rd. The 4th of July is not until the 4th. It gradually builds up, so that by the 2nd, everybody's going to be on their game. The only difference is that this year the bridge one of the bridges over to Arkansas is closed, so getting the good Arkansas fireworks is going to be a little bit harder than usual. But I'm sure everybody will have their quarter-6 of dynamite and such. But anyway, Colin Butler has a radio.
I lost you, Jeff. I can't hear you. What did you lost your sound?
I was so enthusiastic about Colin Butler. I ripped my cord out. But check it out. Plus it's just a great radio station anyway. And there's a lot of good DJs on it. So Mindy Marriott put in, so there are so many struggling and have struggled through this shit show of a year. Hope to touch some hearts and lead those to hope at Red Rocks XOXO. Yes, that's terrific sentiment. This music is I'm going to get cheesy for a second, but music is healing. We all know that. We all have music that we go to in times of need, times of sadness, times of, we need a little guidance in this world, whatever it might be. But it's to me, it's just jam band music has always been a music that I think just has emotion attached to it, and maybe it's because of the songs, maybe it's because of the players. I mean, even though I don't play guitar, I'm a person that listens to bands. My favorite bands are people that have dominant lead guitarists, and it's Dwayne, it's Jerry, it's Derek Trucks, it's Mikey, it's whatever it might be, Trey notwithstanding. But I get it. Like, I get why Fish, it means so much to people, but it's just like the Dead, especially, just for that rock for thousands of people, millions of people, and just like what those songs meant to people, and Jerry and the way he played, and like Panic is that way for so many people too. And it's just, I think there's just going to be this great sense of relief for people that are there. But I think even those, they're the shows will be streaming video. You'll be able to stream the audio as well, and then that's just, I can't wait. I mean, we're going out of town this weekend, but we'll be in the car. We'll be in the car Saturday night, and we'll be in the car, and I'll be at our destination on Sunday. But I'm planning on listening to the show Friday night, and then Saturday night I'm going to make Jen and Ellison listen to the show in the car, and you know, they'll just have to deal with it because it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'm going to a Reds game on Friday night with some friends, so I'll probably listen to it on the way home. And then Saturday we're going to see Sam Bush at this music series that they have going on in Georgetown. That's Saturday night, but then Sunday's a freebie. So maybe I'll buy the stream. We got a projector for Christmas. I'll put the projector outside, get the fire going, rock out the neighborhood.
What do you shoot the projector on? Bed sheet?
Bed sheet, yeah, high class.
Nice. Whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're I'm assuming they'll be streaming the audio this weekend, right? I know they're doing the video streams.
Yeah, I don't know what the policy is when they do the pay-per-view. Like maybe I don't know. I'm not for sure. I feel like maybe they don't.
They don't stream the audio for free. I'm done with this band. God damn them.
Jeff, do you remember we used to wait weeks to get
my God,
cassette tapes?
I think we've talked about this before, even though it's been 4 years probably, but I think the quickest turnaround from a show I didn't tape, the quickest turnaround I ever had was for 7/26/98 from
Jackson,
Mississippi, recorded by Jamie Cyrek, AKGs, One Jackson Place, patched by Todd Duncan of Nicaragua, Missouri. I don't know if he still lives in Nicaragua, Missouri. He did I think he went to the show on Saturday. Sunday he went home and did a thing on YouTube, and first 5 people to send me an email, we'll send it to him for free.
On YouTube. YouTube didn't exist.
Sorry, email. Spreadnet.
On Spreadnet.
And I think I got it on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I remember thinking that was the most amazing thing ever, was that I got a show that was recorded on Saturday and I got it on a Wednesday.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Tyler Simpson says audio is a go on YouTube.
Oh, excellent.
So that is
excellent.
Good. But not sure about Tunes for Tots. So
what else do we got? We got another few minutes to entertain the individuals that are on the stream right now. Where do we want to go with this? I
don't know. I'm good.
Let's go over the rest of tour dates.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Actually, I was going to ask you this. Okay. So we're going to go to 10:30 tonight. So everybody, if you got your comments, get them in. I was going to ask you. Now that we have the whole rest of the year ahead of us,
yeah,
I'm going to set aside Red Rocks because of the emotional impact, and I'm going to set aside New Year's, and I'm going to set aside Halloween, maybe New Orleans, because fingers crossed that's going to happen. But all the rest of the dates.
Yeah.
What will be the run that stands out at the end of the year that was going to be oh man, they crushed it in Wilmington or Napa or Milwaukee or Memphis, or what's the one that's going to stick out besides the sort of flagpole ones?
So the obvious answer is probably the Beacon, just because it's the Beacon. So I think the fifth night of the Beacon is going to be one of those shows where they play 5 nights in a row. They're not going to repeat songs. So what do they save? And then what do they bust out on that 5th night? That's always been the thing. Even when they were just doing 3-show runs, or that rare 4-show run back in the day, it always was, okay, they're not going to repeat, especially as they got into 96 and 97 for sure. Not going to repeat by that 4th show. So what did they say? What's going to be on the table? So that 5th show is always the thing. But as Steven says, that Milwaukee run is always the fire. And
I feel like it is. That's got to be the favorite. I don't think. That's the.
Yeah, the Beacon's the obvious one, just because it's New York City and we're conditioned to think that everything great happens in New York, which, that's true. But Milwaukee's going to be the fire. It's just I feel like that is the run, other than the big 3, Panic and La Playa, or the big 4, Panic and La Playa, Red Rocks, Halloween, New Year's. That has become the run to go to. And even though they got a Chicago run, and even though there's a lot of Chicago folks that come up from Milwaukee, there's just something about Milwaukee. The band's always brought it there. So many great shows over the years, from 7/22/92, 7/8/95, 11/1/96, those 97 shows. I can keep going. I'm a date dropper. I'm not a name dropper, but I'm a date dropper.
Should we stay on after 10:30 and just talk about Aaron Rodgers' future football plans?
We can talk about Aaron Rodgers. We can talk about the secret recording of 7 Badgers seniors that's been released, and airing their grievances to Coach Greg Gard that was released, secretly recorded and released to the media. And so lots of Wisconsin sports controversies.
I also want to say I am disappointed that as soon as you dropped Coach Cal's name with Jay, that the video started dropping out.
Yeah, I think that's what happens in Memphis when you mention his name. It's just like it messes
the internet, just everything.
It's crazy. So I should say, if Jay's still on, and Jay's dad worked for the University of Memphis and Memphis State University Athletic Department forever, and booked the travel for the teams to go out, and then book the travel for the teams to come in, and then book all the travel for the referees. So he always had a close relationship, all the way back to Coach Bartow, Coach Finch, and then obviously Coach Cal, and then Penny now. So Jay's been around the program for a long time and has known all the major players and knew Cal pretty well.
So I love the fact that he knew him and he likes him. You know what I mean? That it's not like he knew him, but he was a total dingbat, right? It's like,
sure. Well, I'll say this:
people that know Cal, I think, all respect him and have. There's very few, even John Chaney, where they had that moment, they still ended up becoming pretty good friends after that.
Cal, I mean, again, Jay can tell it better, but Jay's dad is had some health issues in the last couple of years or so, and Cal called to check in on him. And this is somebody he hadn't worked with since he left Memphis back in 08, right?
Yes.
08. Yeah. So, again, I've never said Cal's not a bad person.
Right.
I've never said that Cal's a bad person.
Yeah.
I just think that he just represents everything that's wrong with college basketball. But college basketball is basically going to die before our eyes over the course of the next few years anyway.
So okay. I just because we're having a good night here. I don't want to get into how terrible Tom Crean is or anything like that. So let's stay focused. Steven also says that he was at the first Riverside show and tickets were on the ground, which is hard to believe, and that now it's Destination Paddock, which it's true. It's now I would put St. Augustine's probably pretty close to that point now too. But
the Riverside.
Why is the Palace not? I mean, can we not get some Palace love?
The Palace should be on the list. Again, I think the fact that they did Wilmington, which obviously is on the eastern coast of North Carolina, and then they're going to do Asheville after that. I mean, the Wilmington one's a little interesting to me. The Asheville one makes sense. Asheville's, obviously great. We've both been there. I'm going there next week. Austin the week after Asheville, and then 2 weeks off, and then Napa, and then the big run in New York, middle of September. Memphis first weekend in October, then the big 4-show run Milwaukee, and then maybe Halloween. I'm guessing that maybe that'll be a New Orleans drop, and then the 3 Chicago shows, and then New Year's. There's room for Louisville, and they should bring Louisville back in the spring. It'll be the 25th anniversary of 5/7/97 this year. So what better to do? A nice 3-show run, and let you pick the set list.
Right. I mean, if I deserve anything, that's what I deserve. I'm not asking for much. Just let me pick out the set list on a 3-night run at the Palace.
The grand sense of entitlement of the 25th anniversary of one of the greatest shows ever that you have been championing since the day I met you. I think that would be appropriate. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I don't think the Palace is going to happen this fall because Kentucky's open now, so there's nothing to wait on. I think New Orleans is still not fully open, and so that's why, at least I don't have any inside knowledge, but that would be my opinion on why that announcement hasn't happened yet. Is that they're waiting for the all clear to go full at Lakefront, but we'll see. I do have a contact at Lakefront. I should email him and just get a scoop.
Get
What,
this.
you got that set aside, waiting for the boys.
So I mean, we're coming up on it's 10:29 on the East Coast.
That's true.
Do we want to commit live on the air to the individuals watching that we will do a Red Rocks recap show next week?
Next week, Jeff.
If
we're
just
on an every 2 month every 2 month.
But if we're going to commit to this live format, which I think is good for us,
yeah.
Then maybe we could bring it back, and we could have Jay come back, maybe Ted come back, and
Ted said he wanted to do a recap, so that's what I would be up for that.
So we're trying to work on a format. Everybody is really what we're trying to do. We understand that the world is a much different place than it was in 2017.
Right. Was it 2017? Is that when we started this?
We did. It was with our,
4 years.
We started off so modest with our hour-and-a-half shows, and we were so nervous talking into the microphones, and then we just ended up doing like 3-hour shows where we just played like entire sets of Panic. So now we'll just tell you where to go find it. WeListen.net, panicstream.com.
And we can play some clips. I think that we have the ability to do that here, and we could play some clips when we talk about, like you mentioned, that 96
61396
61396. We could do that bit maybe.
Porch Roberta Legba, do it.
Yeah.
But yes, it's these are. It's funny when we started this. It was the 20th anniversary of '97, which is one of the best years in Panic history in our minds with the Mikey band, and we were very lukewarm to the new band. But I think we've evolved because we've seen the band and talked to folks and listened to the shows a lot more. And also we know that y'all just don't want to hear us talk about old shit all the time either. And so, but this is obviously a big year for the band, big year for all of us, and certainly a big year, for the history of the band with the 25th anniversary of their best year in my mind, 1996, 30th anniversary of 86, which is the first full year of the band. So there's a lot of history there. And there's our 35th anniversary. I'm sorry, 35th anniversary of the first.
Yeah, I guess they didn't get a chance. I mean, that would have been, sorry again, folks. That would have been this February, right? It would have been 35 years. So they didn't get to do a special thing for that.
No, and they didn't get to do. I mean, there never seemed to be ones to do those anniversary tours. But like the Black Crowes were supposed to do the big anniversary tour last year, and they pushed everything into this year. And
I feel like they did. They noted it in 06. And then they noted it in 11 when they did those shows at the Classic Center. I mean, that was the 25th, right? That was a big thing. So who knows? Maybe 5 years from now. Let's hope.
Yes.
If they were so the band was they started 20 years after the Dead. So this current iteration of Widespread Panic would be as if the Dead were playing in 2001.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy to think that they've been around as long as they have. And I mean, I think one of the major, and again, y'all can argue with me, you can argue with me however y'all you want, but the drop off in the quality of the performances in the Grateful Dead was so precipitous from, the last peak, which people say is 90, 91 until 95.
Yeah.
There's been no drop off with this band. I mean, yes, you could argue the George years, blah, 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 but everybody else.
You could say there are valleys, right?
There are valleys.
Even that is just.
But the stuff that, while it hasn't been my favorite, and I am evolving into liking this newer band more, to be this far into your history, 35 years into your history, and to still be really melting faces like the way that they will this weekend is remarkable.
Yes.
I mean, Fish, again, I have Fish issues. I mean, Fish still does the same thing. I mean, those shows that Trey did at the Beacon with Trey Band, with different variations were super cool.
Yeah.
Dudes can still play, and just the Dead just going like that. The Allman Brothers, even the Allman Brothers in some ways, sustained well into the 90s and really sort of hit their peak like 95, 96, and then Tape, and then the Jack years, and then when Derek came back, and then obviously the Derek and Warren years are a whole other thing. But you know, it's not the same. This is a band that's still going to be creating new music and still going to be doing these shows and still going to be having as much energy. And I mean, it's remarkable. I don't know what these guys do. I'm sure JB's been in the gym.
Yeah. He's been in his you know, his square room with the peace stuff. But
yeah, I have one more recommendation. Can I make one more recommendation for a show?
Please. Yes.
6/18/98. So this is the European tour of '98, La Laiterie in Strasbourg, France. And so I listened to the show the other day. I hadn't listened to it in a long time. It's just a sick first set. Wrangler, Diner, Hopeless World, AFD, Rock, Going Out West, Raise the Roof, Greta, Coconut, then a Low Spark, Blight, Low Spark to start the second set. But the intro to the show is probably one of the best intros ever because it's just JB saying the words Bobby Rush over and over again. Bobby Rush.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Rush. It's awesome. And so
Nice.
it sets the tone, and it's a monster Wrangler. It's like a 12.5-minute Wrangler and like a 15-minute Diner. And it's sick. So 6/13/96 and then 6/18/98. Those are my two recs this week.
Before we go, I want a prediction. Do you think the band will go to Europe again?
Oh, no.
Because I want to go now.
I know you want to go.
Right?
No, because
It's too much hassle. They're too old
it's
for that
hassle,
now.
but it's if they're not.
They don't need that.
This is just
right?
this is just my opinion, and this is just thinking about the music business. And I know the music business is drastically different than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They're not in the business of breaking a record anymore, and
Right.
so you know they went to Europe in 98, 99 and wanted to go again in 2001, you know, to promote records and break records and try to break into that market. And they haven't been back since. It just, I mean, if they only go if they want to go, like if they just said, hey, let's just go to Europe and take the family and
Right. I think that was the thing. It's like they pay your way basically.
Yeah.
Like, let's go have a vacation.
Yeah. But there's not a record company that's going to be footing the bill for them to do it.
Right.
And, you know, but that said, if they want to make a significant stack of American green dollars, there's probably
I'm pretty
there's
sure.
probably a bunch of Americans that when Europe opens back up will be, yeah, let's go. So
Yeah.
I don't think they will. I just doesn't. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't see that. I think what they've got laid out for the rest of the year is really going to be the model for what we see going forward. And I hope it turns into. I mean, there's new venues that are great in that rotation, but I hope we see more of those classic venues come back to like the Palace and they do the Beacon, they do the Riverside, which has become a venue, and obviously we're not going to get 3-night runs through the state of Iowa anymore, but hopefully they start to hit some of those. Oak Mountain, hope to see another Oak Mountain run at some point in time. Doing something in Atlanta outside of the Fox would be cool. You said St. Augustine has become a spot for them as well, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't see it. What do you think? You think they'll go over there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a business plan for it, like you mentioned. But I wish that they would, because it's fun to play in small places. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be fun for the band, but whether it makes sense, I get that it's a hassle. You know what I mean? So anyway, we'll see. All right, Jeff, this was fun. Thanks for
next week
for coming out. Yeah, we'll do next week. And thanks to Jen for, keeping everything going on inside.
It was great. During the break, I actually went inside and I read Ellison 2 books because he hadn't gone to bed yet.
Okay.
So quick tip.
I packed lunches for camp tomorrow. That's
awesome.
what I did. So
Ellison is really into the trucks, tractors, construction equipment phase of boydom. And but we read the same books over and over, so I've started entertaining myself by singing the books to the tune of classic country songs. So we sang Amazing Airplanes to the tune of Ramblin' Man by Hank Williams tonight. That was the big hit. You can try it, everybody. Tyler Simpson, you can try it if you have.
Yes. Living the dad life. That's what we do. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll talk to everybody soon. Enjoy. If you're going to the shows, have a blast for us.
Yes.
And if you're sitting at home watching on TV, have a blast doing that too. So, all right. We'll talk to everybody soon. See ya.